Good evening, everyone. Laws of Evil Speech. We're starting Rechilus chapter 9. So now we're going to talk about a very common situation which we have touched upon before. You know somebody who wants to join a partnership with somebody, or he's getting involved with somebody. Maybe it's a shidduch, he or she is dating a person, or they want to get into a business relationship with them. And you know some bad information about them that will negatively impact their marriage or business situation. So what do you do? So we're going to learn that there are 5 conditions listed here of when you can reveal that information to the party involved. So let's get right to it. Im echad roa shechaver rotza lishtatef be'ez davar im echad v'hu mishayer shebevadi yisoviv la'yedei ze inyan ra. You know your friend wants to do a partnership with somebody, and you know for sure something bad will happen. You have to, you are required to tell this person, to tell him, the information, the negative information to save him. However, there are 5 details that are needed, which I will explain now, closely. Now, if you remember, actually just before we start, we learned in Hilchos Lashon Hara in many classes ago in chapter 10, halacha number 2, that there are 7 conditions. So that case was a little different when you need 7 conditions. 2 of the conditions here you don't need. The reason is that case was talking about where somebody stole an object or he damaged somebody, and you want to help the person whose item was stolen or whose object was damaged. So in that case, you need all of those 7 conditions, but this case is a little different. We're not dealing with a case where somebody stole something from somebody else. He just wants to join a business, a partnership with somebody, and you happen to know some negative information. So you are required to share that information, but with these 5 conditions. Ve'eluheim, these are the 5 conditions. Number 1, Yazahir ma'od shelo yachle tekev v'se inyan b'daito le'inyan ra, rak yizborin heitev metchila imhu be'etzem ra. You know negative information about this person, but you have to make sure that this information is actually negative, and you have to contemplate it, right? I think maybe he's a thief, he's a dishonest person, I saw him stealing from his previous business partner. Well, do you know all the facts? Are you confident that that's what happened? Are you sure about it? You have to be sure that the information is actually a bad thing. Maybe you just misinterpreted what happened in the situation. Bays. Number 2, Shelo yagdil b'sipuru esa inyan l'ra yosem ramashahu. You are not allowed to exaggerate, right? Can't exaggerate the bad thing. Can't make it sound worse than it is. Gimel, number 3, Sheyechaven rak l'to'elas dahainu l'sala kanizakin mizeh v'lo mitzad sina al hashekenegdo. He says that your intent by sharing this negative information has to be because you're trying to help somebody, not because you hate the guy, right? If you hate the guy and you're trying to, he's a thief, but you happen to hate him and you're sharing the information because you want to get revenge because he did something wrong to you, you're not allowed to share it in that case. You have to share it. Your intent has to be that you're purely trying to help this other person so something bad doesn't happen to him. Shemulvad hakavana sheichavin letoeles v'lo mitzad sina yizbonen metchila im tavo mizet toeles lafukim mashematze kamabam shafilu im yamerlo leishmelo vishtatif imo v'achakar sheyargizu. I'll translate in a second. Chaver be'ez davar omer lo yafa omer alecha ploini she'en roy lishtatif imchok yitzbezet lanashim ke'elu shehu makirim sheish lahem nidara zu derechilus lo yitzur shum heter ki hu machshel es ha'ivur halalu belois es gemura derechilus. It has to be when you're sharing this information that a positive outcome will happen, right? Meaning you're going to tell the guy that he's a thief and he won't join a partnership with him. But if you know that he's not going to listen to you, even if you're sharing accurate information, then you're not allowed to share it. And what Chavetz Chaim says, it could actually be something worse would happen. Like, what's going to happen? He's not going to listen to you. He'll partner with him anyway. He'll discover himself that he's a thief. So he'll get in a fight with him, and he said, I should have listened to David when he told me that you're a thief. And then he just violated the prohibition of Rechilus by sharing what David warned him about. And therefore he says you're not allowed to share. These types of people, they won't listen to you, or they have big mouths and they gossip. then you're not allowed to share the negative information with them, because it's like lifnei iver. You are causing them to sin by sharing the negative information. So the third rule we had here was that your intent has to be pure, and there has to be a positive result will come by you sharing the information. If there's no positive result that will come, you still can't share it. Dalet, number 4. If it's possible that you could achieve the same result without sharing the negative information, you have to do that. So if there's a way that you're able to prevent this fellow from joining this partnership in another way without sharing the evil speech, you have to do that first. Okay? Hey, number 5. Kol ze eino mutar rak im lo yisaviv al yedei hasipor mamish lehanidon. Dahainu shel yariu imo mamish rak shetos min al yedei ze hatova shehaya ose imo hakisher nagdo. You're only allowed to share the information where if the person you're talking about, nothing bad is going to happen to him except for not joining this partnership. Meaning, if you would tell your friend, John is a thief and you shouldn't become a partner with him, and because of that, word's going to spread about John and he'll never be able to make a livelihood again, and his wife will divorce him and he'll go to jail and all these horrible things will happen to him, you're not allowed to share the information. The only effect that your speech can have is that your friend doesn't join this particular partnership with John. After memela davar zeh hu ra lo mikol makom mutar. Aval im yagilo ayde sipur ra mamish asur l'saper lav ki yitztarach lazeh od pratim v'yivorim l'kamim retz Hashem b'sifhei vav. He says, if it will happen that other bad things will happen to John, then you need other requirements which we will discuss in Sif 5 and 6. If you see that by sharing this speech, a horrible thing will happen to John, we had a similar concept earlier, that if by you sharing the speech, something very bad will happen to him, more than what a Jewish court would inflict, then you are not allowed to share that information. So just to go over the 5 conditions to share negative information to prevent someone from getting hurt. 1, you have to contemplate that what you know about this person is actually bad. 2, you can't exaggerate. 3, your intent has to be pure and there has to be a positive effect that could come out of it. 4, there's no other way for you to achieve the result without sharing this information. And number 5, there won't be undue harm caused to the person that you're speaking about. Now, just one other detail. All of this that we've been talking about is when you know this information yourself. You know firsthand that so-and-so is a thief, and it will be very bad for your friend to join into a business partnership with him. Now, what is the halacha if you don't know the information yourself, but someone told you, someone warned you that John is a thief? Now, you have a friend who's going into business with John. Now, you don't know firsthand if John is a thief, but someone told you about that. Are you allowed to share that information? So, the Chavetz Chaim has a long discussion about that in the Ber Maim Chaim, and he concludes, Tzarech Ian Gadol, the matter requires great insight. It's not so clear if you're allowed to share the information. So what you should do, seemingly, is if you hear that so-and-so did something, is a thief, you should investigate it yourself, and once you clarify it yourself and you know yourself, then you could share it with a friend. But if you only heard a rumor, then it isn't so clear that you're allowed to share that information. And with that, we conclude. And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening and a beautiful Shabbos.